So I know you guys saw the thumbnail, just letting you guys know that I am due in about this spring. I'm gonna have a little baby. No, I'm not gonna have a baby. Hey mind shifters, I know it's me. It's been a while, it's been a minute. This video is to kind of talk to you guys about what I found out. Why do I look pregnant? About a year ago, I started getting UTIs. And for anyone that gets UTIs, I'm so sorry. I had never got UTIs. And I thought it was because I'm getting older. Maybe I'm getting menopause, but I had not only UTIs, but I had a lot of other symptoms. I had really heavy periods. I had a lot of back pains, like major back pains. And I also had, I don't know if you want to see these videos about people that have like stone pregnancies, I guess. It looks like they have a basketball. And I thought essentially that I was being kickstarted into menopause. But as I kept getting recurring UTIs and having to go to the emergency room because I guess there's a backlog with my healthcare provider that I couldn't like actually get seen by anyone, they kept giving me prescriptions, but then something said something's not right. So I made an appointment with my gynecologist. She did an actual manual physical in my pelvic area and in my vagina, and she said, I still fibroids. I didn't know what that was. So I did research about fibroids, uterine fibroids. So this is kind of what this video is going to be about, just symptoms for that you need to look out for. If you have any symptoms similar to me, please get checked out. I said I was having frequent urination, which was causing UTIs, and also had bowel movements have increased as well. So those are like the first two symptoms that I didn't really know they were symptoms, but I thought it was more like menopause symptoms to early start to menopause. But the back pains, that, like last winter, I couldn't get out of bed. My son had to help me get out of bed. And what I realized, I thought it was because I was doing powerlifting and I was doing like my form wrong, but no, that's a symptom of uterine fibroids. And to me, the final kick of everything, or the final symptom, was like this weight gain. So you guys know this channel is Mind Shift to Keto and Wellness. I haven't, honestly guys, let's all be honest, I've been doing keto for the last year and a half, but still doing low carb. But it's, for some reason, like I've been gaining weight like all over. Now, truth be told, I've been depression eating and I fell back into some bad habits, but overall pretty much been keeping within the macros for a low carb nutrition. And what I've read and research is that weight gain and weight loss too, but weight gain is actually a symptom of uterine fibroids as well. So essentially, I just want you guys to get yourself checked out, get with a gynecologist, and talk to them about your symptoms. Now, my experience, I'm not going to mention my healthcare provider right now, and I'm going to go, you all are along on this journey with me, but my experience has been very emotional, at least emotional for me. When I went in to see the gynecologist, it wasn't my regular gynecologist. It was just someone that's in the network. She had me do a sonogram. We got the results from the sonogram. Instead of having me come in person, she did a phone interview, or phone results, or whatever they're doing now. So I was on my way to work driving, and I didn't think it was going to be anything negative. She called me and she let me know, okay, hey, you have uterine fibroids. I'm like, what are those? And so she explained that those are non-cancerous, hopefully non-cancerous tumors or growths that can grow inside your uterus or outside your uterus, And so in my mind, I'm thinking we're in 2022 at the time. This is right before the new year. I'm thinking that, okay, there has to be so many options. And the first thing she mentioned to me was like, I recommend a hysterectomy. So I immediately pulled over on the side of the road because I was like on Baltimore Washington Parkway, BW Parkway, if you all are familiar with, the East Coast, 295. I pull over in a little small shoulder and I started crying. And she actually said, why are you crying? It's not serious. She said, this is very common, especially in Black women. And I said, ma'am, I would like to keep my uterus. It's very serious to me. And so I was just really surprised, saddened, and I couldn't really think straight. And in my mind at that very moment, I said, I am not going to be, this lady is not going to be my doctor. So let me also say this, if you have to get a hysterectomy or that's a decision you've come to, you've reconciled that, you're okay with it, my heart is with you. For me, it's like a symbol of my womanhood and a part of me, and it's like I want all the parts that God gave me. So I didn't say anything to this lady. I didn't do a negative feedback, but she never once asked me just how I was feeling. So I immediately got off the phone with her. She tried to say, hey, let's maybe schedule an in-person appointment. I'm like, yeah, thank you. And so at that point I was thinking I'm going to change my healthcare provider. And I'll do some videos to kind of help you guys when you are determining what type of healthcare provider you can afford and who you should actually select. So in my mind, I work for the government, and there's only certain times where you can actually change your provider. So in my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to change my provider. But one of my close girlfriends recommended another doctor in our network. So I reached out to him. Yes, a male doctor, I know. A male gynecologist. And actually, I was really pleasantly surprised. As soon as I got there, you know, he wanted to know more about me. The first thing we did is he went over the sonogram with me, like in detail. Measurements, he had like a measuring tape. He talked about not only the length and the width, but actually I guess the diameter. So essentially, as of now, I have, from the results of that meeting with the gentleman, he said I had a fibroid that was the size of an orange, one that was the size of a lemon, and one that was the size of a plum. That's what the sonogram showed him. And his very first question to me was, what's your reproduction plan? He said, I see that you have a son. Do you plan to have any more kids? I know I'm older. I'm 41. I'll be, Lord's willing, 42 in this April. But that was such a wonderful question. And he wasn't, you know, he's very competent. He wasn't emotional at all, but I just really appreciated him asking that question. So I said, I want to keep the door open. I would love to have more kids. My son turned 21 a week ago, but you know, I'll tell you guys why I said I wanted to have kids. A friend of mine at work recommended, he said, if they ask you that, say that. So for all you guys, if you're really not sure, why you want to say that, because you want them to give you other options other than the hysterectomy. So I said that. I said, yes, I'm very interested in having more kids. He said, okay, let's explore all the options. So he laid out all the options that didn't involve hysterectomy. He did talk about, because your uterus is a vascular muscle, that's why they opt for hysterectomy, because they don't want people to bleed to death. He said, you know, they're a very small percentage, if they do any surgery, you know, that they would have to do an emergency hysterectomy, but that's like the very last thing. So immediately I was like thanking God that this person is he's listening to me. I really don't want to do the hysterectomy. This is kind of where I am now. Right now, I had to do the MRI after that, which is very scary. If you are scared or you're claustrophobic, you want to get some sort of relaxation medication, because that was a very scary situation for me, to the point where I was just going to deal with the fibroids for the rest of my life. But, you know, thankfully I had a really great technologist. My son also came in to talk to me, and he stayed with me. So that MRI results showed more than 3 fibroids. It showed, the gynecologist or the surgeon I went to showed about up to 15 fibroids. And she said there could be more when she goes in. So you see how important it is to talk to your gynecologist. If you feel uncomfortable, you switch to someone else that makes you feel comfortable. Make sure people explain to you what you're seeing. So yeah, that's just gonna be kind of part 1. I'm going to take you guys on this journey with me for the fibroids, the uterine fibroids. That's the reason why I look pregnant. Then I've also gained some weight. We'll talk about that later. Okay, as always, bye.